So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. And this is the green background. I'm going to pick, with the picker, I'm going to pick I think I'm going to do this color. Okay, kind of a deep, rich brown red color. And let's see what we've actually got. I'm going to add a little more red to it and maybe take out some of the blue. Okay, I'm going to take out all the blue. So here's the next step. I'm going to take my pen tool with my pen stylus, and I'm going to start with the areas that look to be white. And I'm going to say that we've got this here. We kind of come up the muzzle here. And then down this muzzle. And then again, just run straight across and then back down here. All right, so that's going to be white. And I will select and I'll make that white. It's going to look a little harsh. That's okay. Then I'm going to do this here. And I'm referencing the photo of the painting I did. Okay. So white. And then this is all kind of a whitish color. And I can adjust it later. So we go and do this. And so that's all white. And then next, I've got some more white to do because I've got around the eyes. Let's do this here. And that will be white. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Do that. So we got some white here. And then it's really white here too. And let's see what we end up with. And again, I can adjust all of this later. So, all right, now I've kind of got my white areas done. I'm going to do some yellow. And I'm going to say that we've got yellow here. Okay. And what kind of yellow do I want? Well, I can use my picker and do that and then adjust from there. And I'll make it a pretty sharp yellow. And then I'll do the same over here. Yellow. And I'll add a little bit more yellow in here. Let me go and select all the white. I'm actually going to group all the white. Bring it to the front. Okay. And then yellow. Yellow there. And yellow. Hello. And yellow. Some yellow here. Come on, you. And then I'm going to do a little bit right here. And then there's a little bit up top here too, kind of fading out. I'm really just looking for broad colors. Just want to get some broad colors in there. Then let me get the teeth. Teeth aren't really yellow. They're kind of an off-white, but for the moment, I'll just say they are yellow. And that's the top of this tooth here. Just gonna make all that yellow. And then I'm gonna make all of this. See that? That's not what I want to do. I'm going to make all of this kind of this pinkish color. It's like a light pink kind of going on there. If you actually select the color off of the photo, it's going to be maybe a grayish. Yeah, it'll just look weird. But that's close to what the color is. So I'm going to do something more like that. And then I'm going to do our nose. And I might do the nose this color as well. Okay. And then this is where it gets a little nuanced, okay? Because we got some interesting spots to work on. So I'm just gonna kind of go with my gut here and make some of these lighter orange colors around the yellow. Do something a little bit more like that. Color might not be exactly what I'm after, but and again, kind of around these spots. And certainly on this muzzle. All right, now I want to try something because I'm going to select all these oranges. I don't know why it selected the whole thing. I'm going to group that. I'm going to group this. I'm going to group these. Add that in, why not? Group, and bring these to the front. And then make sure all the yellows are grouped. The fur yellows. And there's more I would definitely do. So now I'm going to take a look at these, and I'm actually going to copy these to a new layer. And let's see, do I have everything if I move it? No, I don't. Let's send it back. Okay, there we go. So then I can take this and so I'm going to select all of these now, and then I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to say fur color groupings. Just use something that makes sense to you, right? So I don't think I copied them, but I'm going to copy forward. I copy to the front, and there we go. All right. Now I'm just going to try this. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go up to my Gaussian blur. I want to preview it and see what it looks like. It's thinking because there's a lot going on there. All right, that's pretty good. All right, let's see what we got now. All right, it softened it up nicely. I'm going to go to this layer, and I'm going to make one more layer. Fur color vector. So this is kind of my base for these, and I'm going to make them go away. And I just want to look at how this looks now. And it looks pretty cool. It's kind of natural. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to duplicate this layer. And this will literally, I'm going to get rid of this blurs, black stripes is what I'm naming that. And then this will be the blur. So I'll lock this. So let's see what our black stripes, I know it's going to go a little bit onto the teeth and stuff, but let's just say, let's blur it out and see what it looks like. That's going to be too much. So I'll kick it back a little. I'll put a little. Too much? I don't know. Let's see. It's too much, I'd say. But the thing I can do with it is I can undo it, or I can go to my transparency and I can knock that back a little, and that'll change. So it's a little soft, but seems to be working kind of nicely, I think. So let me get these yellow teeth up. That's the problem when you start getting around all of the gradients. You're going to need to the blurs rather, because the blurs, they'll select wider than their actual vector lines are, and so you need to kind of just grab the vectors. So that's why I went to that art mode, so I could see. I want to make sure I'm calling it the right thing. The view is where is it at? Command Y gives you boy, that's a great question. Command Y. They're calling it now. Well, it gives you the vector, and then this is the artwork. So Command Y gets you to look at all your vector lines when you hit it the first time, and then it brings you back. So you can see all the lines we're working with there. So we're ending up with something pretty interesting. Now we've got something going. And now we can even start working on some shading and highlights to make it look a little bit more realistic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some blue into this. And I'm going to do this blue shadows. And I suppose they might be highlighted at some point, but I'm going to go and I'm going to pick a nice blue that I want to work with. I am going to lock some of these things so that I'm not struggling through them. Okay, so I know that there is some blue stuff going on here. And there's some blue stuff going on down here. There just will be because you're looking to make the yellow pop. And the only way that yellow pops, I don't know why that happened. I did something weird there. The only way that white pops I got to disable this button on my tool that I'm using on this tablet. If I keep clicking the button, it keeps on finishing what I'm working on. I know that there's some reason why somebody likes it, but beats me. I'm going to blur this because I want to see how it looks. Now I'm good with that because what I'll do is I can start to add some individual fur. And I might add this to a new layer and I'll call it white fur. And then I'll carry that stuff up there. And I actually want it to go over the stripes. So now we get a little bit of layering going on. And that looks really sharp. That's cool. So I can maybe even create some directional fur that I can begin to copy into certain areas and use again and again, just to help me along. And I can adjust the opacity. So it looks something like that in the photo. Now you'll want to take some of the repetition out of these by maybe adding a little bit more unique shape. And I can do the same down here. Man, this is annoying. You know, my goal isn't really to show you how together I've got it. My goal is to show you just the stuff that comes up in the process. Because that's what it is. This whole thing is a process. And I often will find my way, and the stuff that I get rid of is the stuff that just doesn't work. Something I don't like in here is there's this. I don't like that. And I don't like that. So I'll go back in. Don't be afraid to spend time on this stuff because it takes time. It takes all kinds of time to make an illustration look good. Some things you just move real fast on and they'll be efficient, but projects take a while. So don't be afraid to work on a project and for it to take some time. And I mean, it could be 40 hours, it could be 10 hours, it could be a whole bunch of different amounts of time that go into doing these things. So I want to get some of that blue in here. So let's see what that looks like. So that's interesting. I think I might pull back the opacity a little bit. Now I'm getting some depth in those stripes. Let me go back to my white layer. So notice here what I've done since we last talked is I've taken the black blur behind the stripes, Gaussian blur, and I've made it a brownish color, and it's interesting because it doesn't look great against the white. So what I need to do is I need to create a mask for it. So this is how I'm going to do it. I am going to create some shapes to contain the white. So we've got a shape there. I'm going to make it green just so I can see it. And I'm going to okay, that's green. I'm going to do one over here. And I'm going to do this here. So I'm going to see how this works out, because what I need to do is I need to unite these guys with Pathfinder. So I'm going to get my Pathfinder. Where is it? Is it buried here somewhere? No, it's down here. So I'm going to unite, make a compound shape. Then I need to create another layer and send it to the back. I guess technically I'm making a wash of color. I'm not making a layer. Okay, so you can see it here. And I'm going to go back to Pathfinder and I'm going to minus the front. So I want the green to go away. Okay, there we go. So now I've made a mask. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this mask up to the to the fur, and I'm going to select it, which I think it did, but I want to be sure. So I've got that blur, and then I'm going to make a clipping mask. So let's see, did I clip the parts that I wanted? I did. Because you can still see the brownish color coming out underneath the black against everything, pretty much everything but the white. So I've made a clipping mask. So there we go. That allowed me to say I'm not going to have any of that brown blur coming out around black and the white areas, because it doesn't look right. It needs to be a bluish color if it's coming off the black in those areas. So let me do the reverse. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to copy it to the front. And this is where it can get confusing, right? So I'm going to write down brown mask. That's what I'm going to write. And then I'm going to make a new layer. And I'll call this new layer blurs blue mask, because that's what they'll be. So I'm going to copy that forward, and I'm going to, I don't know why it says tablet there. What just happened? Let me go ahead. Let me take this away. I'm going to copy, Command C, Command F, bring that to the front. Thinking. Bring that up there. And lock this. And I'm gonna select. I'm gonna go to Object, Clipping Mask, Release. All right. So now that releases everything, and then I'm going to check out the mask itself. I think it must be smaller than that. All right, so I'm going to color this mask some weird color so I can see it. Do it this blue color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the outer box, and that's going to leave me with these areas here. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to, these will be my mask now. So anything in these blue areas is going to be what shows. So I'm going to go in closer. I've got the blue areas selected. They're already one unified shape. And I'm going to select the brown, right? I'm going to make sure it's the brown. There we go. It shows there. I'm going to select the blue, and I'm going to make, even though it's brown, I'm going to make a clipping mask. I guess I need to actually make it. Make. There we go. So you say, well, what have we done? All we've got is the brown. Yep, I just need to change this color. And I'm going to change it to a blue. And that blue is pretty much nowhere except in areas where there would be white. So it's subtle, but it's getting us closer to making this image look rich and deep. Okay. So now I'm going to keep working this blue over. So there's blue shadows. I'm going to do another layer which is blue. I do it above the blue shadows. And I'm going to begin again with these fur shapes. I really want these to be, I kind of want them to be under the black. That's my gut, but I think I need them to go over the black. So let me do this again. That's way back. I don't know how I jumped down there. Okay. Now, I may need to start mixing some white in here. To get the depth I'm looking for, I may have to mix those from time to time. Again, I'm down at that layer. Let's see what that looks like. See, it starts to add nice depth and interest. Why do you keep jumping? Let's stay on this layer. Okay. So now I'm kind of in my mind, I've got to bring this all along. So now I want to All right, I'm going to lock this because I keep jumping down there. I don't know if it's because of the new tablet I'm working on. I have a High-On tablet, a Canvas 20, I believe, and I'm still learning how to use it. So let me see, what is this actual color? All right, I'm going to go with that. You can get as detailed as you want to get with this. So I constantly try to go in and out here just to see where I'm at. And I wonder if this would look better if it was blurred. Well, it looks like something. I don't know if I like it or not, but I'm going to keep moving. So I think I want this to be a little darker. I'm going to sculpt this part of the muzzle around the corner here. do like the green I have in the original photo, and I'm going to add some of that in here. Kind of carry it up. Add some of this blue in here. All right, let's see how that's looking overall. I like how the texture is looking. I need to get some yellow in here, in between. To get our transition in. Now if I put something that's got a slight opacity over something that's got a slight opacity, say yellow over yellow. If I put 20% yellow opacity over 20% yellow opacity, I'm going to get 40% brighter, right? Less, it'll be 60% less opaque. I don't know what the math is. Is that correct? If you put 20 over 20, then it ends up being 40% of what 100% would be. So I guess that would be 60% less. Is that what I said? I don't know. I'm not going to edit it out because I can't be bothered. I think it's just a thought to think and go on from there. And so I'm going to meander around the muzzle here on this side. And then get some up here. White? I didn't want it to be white. All right, now I'd like to get our kind of a rich orange over this. So I'm gonna like it to be less dark though. And more like that. All right, so that's at 57%. So I made a decision to get pretty detailed here with this guy. And you know, once you make that decision, you probably need to follow through. Unless you're going for a real specific look and it makes sense, you're going to want to follow through and put that much detail throughout. And so this includes, you know, going over the black stripes, which is kind of where I'm at. You can see what this whole thing looks like without the black stripes now. These are all your layers of stuff going on. So I'm going to do a little bit of black into this area here. Let's see if that looks like straight up. Oh, I like that. I don't know that it needs to be any less than that. So here, let me get right up into this guy's muzzle, because now I really want to see what I'm doing. What layer am I on? That last one. Down on yellow fur. Okay. And then I'm locking all these other layers. Okay. Let's see how that looks. I mean, that's really, starting to get a little microscopic, but So I think something I'm going to do here is wow, there's a lot of that down there. Make all the white fur a little bit blue. Just a little. And then my white highlights are going to pop a little better. So I'll lock that again. You can already see I've got all my layers are named weird now because this layer is blue shadows, but it's not really. So for me, it's just a guide. Some of you will be maybe a little bit better organized than I am with my layers. But this is how I roll. If I need to go in and make it look better for a client, I'll do that. I highly recommend organization. I think organized is better than not. So do with that as you will. Let's see how this looks now. Suppose I'd like to see how this whisker will look here. Needs to be thinner than that. That's a big old heavy whisker. Don't like that. So I'm going to take this. Those are a little heavy. It kind of looks how they are in my rendering, but I don't like it. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to make them thinner, and I may make them somewhat transparent. Or maybe I make them this bluish color. And then I can add, some of them in here and there, because you'll have like flyaway hairs that pop up. It's just how it goes. I think I'd like to Now I'm going to use the gradient tool, and I'm going to pop this brown in. And then I'm going to fade it. So we can have this nice fade going down here. Other way. Might blur that later. That delineates a little bit more what's going on here. I need to do some of that in the blue and rather the black over it. Well, let me do some of this brown over here. Whoa, hello. So we're getting somewhere on this. I've got to do a lot of back and forth am working in different areas to bring it all along, I find I generally want to bring it all along at once. Because if I don't, then things start to look separate, or they look like they were done in different styles. So I think wisdom is bring it along all at once. Because there'll be areas that I get bored with. Like when I get one side of the face done, I tend to get a little bit bored, and I want to, I don't want to work on that side of the face any longer, and then it becomes a chore that you really got to work. So that's up there. I'm going to bring this back. I want to take this framing and I'm just going to make it white for right now.